Hey y'all, I'm Rylan. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my January TBR. By April or so of 2021, I was kind of done making TBR and wrap-up videos, but my goal for 2022 is to be consistent about doing those again. I really enjoy making TBRs for each month, but when it comes to filming them, for some reason, I just don't like doing it. But I'm determined to start that back up, especially because one of my goals for 2022 is to post at least one video each week, and I think TBRs are a super great way to get content uploaded, especially as I really do enjoy talking about the books that I want to read each month. My plan is not to make this video super long. I will be saying the title of each book, maybe what I'm reading it for, the genre, and then that's probably it. I tend to be a mix of a TBR reader and a mood reader, so this TBR that I have planned out right now is not set in stone. My goal is to stick with it as much as possible, but I am not guaranteeing that that will happen all the way. As of right now, I do have quite a few books on my TBR for January. I don't start school again until the 10th, and then my internship also starts that day, so until then, I have zero plans and would like to read more than 10 books during the first 10 days of January, but we'll see if that happens or not. This is my current list. This is my current list of books that I want to read. A lot of them are physical. I do have several ARCs and Kindle Unlimited books on my TBR as well. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go through all of those, and then hopefully this video will not be 30 minutes long like some of my other TBR videos likely have been. But it's fine. One of my goals for 2022 is to be more active in book clubs. So one of the first books that I plan to read in January is Where They Found Her by Kimberly McCreight. This is a thriller, and it was picked for the Book Troop Book Club hosted by Gabby Reads on YouTube. I will also be reading A Killer Harvest by Paul Cleave and The Forgetting by Nicole Maggie for a vlog, but they are both in the thriller horror genres. The next book that I plan to read is one that I found at the bookstore a couple of days ago. I had never heard of it before, but when I saw the cover, I was definitely intrigued, and once I skimmed the synopsis of the book, I knew that I really wanted to read it, and that book is called The Assassin Game. I have never seen this book on Instagram as far as I remember, but it sounds super interesting. This is a young adult thriller that has the boarding school trope, and I am certainly very interested in the synopsis of it, and I cannot wait to read it in January. One of my other goals for 2022 is to prioritize reading books that I've owned for a long time. So I made a list of 22 books that I specifically want to get to this year. So in January, I will be reading 3 books from that list. The first one that I'll be reading is A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. This is a paranormal horror book, maybe, and I think it's young adult. I honestly don't know what this book is about, but I will be filming a review video of this one once I finish it. I will also be reading Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. This is a young adult fantasy paranormal book, I believe, and I think it has ghosts in it. So I've heard phenomenal things about this book since it's been published, and I cannot wait to finally read it. The final book that I will be reading from this 22 and 2022 list this month is Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. I bought this book back in 2020 after watching Kat from Paperback Dreams rave about this book, so I will finally be getting to it in January. These 3 books are non-negotiable. I will be reading them in January, and if not, then that's really bad. So I'm speaking it into existence. These 3 books will be read next month because I really want to read those 22 books that I put on that list. So these are getting read for sure. I also really want to do a better job of reading Book of the Month books that I have. I have so many up here right now, and I need to get through them. So this month I put 3 Book of the Month books on my list, although I will most likely be reading a couple more than that. The first one that I have is The Half-Sister by Sandy Jones. This is a thriller. I also have When the Stars Go Dark by Paula McLean. This is a mystery. And finally, I plan to read The Death of Vivek Oji. I've heard this book is really sad, so I am a little bit nervous to read it, but I really want to jump out of my comfort zone in terms of genres this year, so I definitely want to get to this one in January. I have 4 more physical books on my TBR for this month, and those are To Tell You the Truth by Gilly Macmillan. I was gifted this book a long time ago and haven't read it yet. It's fine. Not My Boy by Kelly Simmons. This is a mystery, or maybe it's a thriller. I don't know, it all kind of blurs together sometimes. Spoiler Alert by Olivia Dade. This is a romance. Again, I was gifted this one a long time ago and never read it. And then also, I will be reading The Score by Elle Kennedy. This is the 3rd book in the Off-Campus series. I loved The Deal and the Mistake, and I have very high hopes for this book as well. I have also ordered a physical copy of A Deal with the Elf King because this is the January book club pick for the book club that I co-host. I will leave that book club Discord linked in the description down below. My goal for this year, because I've been talking about goals a lot in this video, is to collect all the books from this book club physically rather than just reading them on my Kindle, because I really like the books that we pick usually for this book club and I want to collect them all physically. So I will be reading this book in January. It is another required book that I need to read this month. The last physical book that I will be reading is 6 Crimson Cranes. This is another book club pick for another book club that I'm a part of and want to be more active in this year. I have the physical library book, but it's in my closet and I don't really feel like getting up to go get it, so I'm not going to. But this is a young adult fantasy. I have seen this one around Bookstagram a lot and cannot wait to pick it up. I read a lot more fantasy in 2021 than I had in previous years, so I am very excited to continue that trend and read more fantasy in 2022. I also hope to read 6 NetGalley arcs in January. If I can get to more, that would be amazing, but 6 is a good number for now. The first arc that I hope to read is Shattered Princess by Amber Vant. This is a romance. I would also like to read Violeta by Isabel Allende. This is a historical, maybe contemporary fiction. I don't know. We'll see what it's about. I don't know. I also plan to read Barbarian Alien by Ruby Dixon. I got an arc of the special edition of the first book and actually really enjoyed it, so I requested the second one as well and was super excited to get approved for it. This is an alien romance for those of y'all who might not have seen this series around on BookTube. It has been very popular on Book Talk lately, and I really love the special editions that are being published this year. I also would like to read The Guest Room. This is a thriller. No idea what it's about, but I have a problem with requesting books on NetGalley, so that one just popped up. And then I will also be reading Such a Pretty Smile. This is a horror book. Again, no idea what it's about, but I will be reading it this month, hopefully. The last arc that I plan to read this month is a thriller called His Wife's Sister. I've had this book on my NetGalley shelf for over a year. It is my oldest arc currently, so I really want to get that knocked off my shelf. Finally, I have 3 Kindle Unlimited books that I plan to read this month. The first is The Spanish Love Deception. I have heard phenomenal things about this book and am finally picking it up. I snagged it on Kindle Unlimited before it was taken off, so very excited to read that one. I also plan to read Obsessed by Ivy Smoke. This is a book that follows the events of the first book in another series by the author called the Temptation series or the Hunted series. I forget what the series name is called, but I read this series last year, fell in love with it, got absolutely addicted to the characters and the storyline. And this book, Obsessed, follows the events of the first book in that series from the male main character's point of view. So it's like the same story, just retold from a different perspective, and I cannot wait to pick this one up. I have been waiting for the release of this book since summer of last year when I read the original series, so my goal is to pick this book up in January. Last but not least, I plan to read Priceless by Miranda Silver. This is a new adult romance. Okay, those are all the books that I currently have listed on my TBR. Will that change? Most likely, but it's fine. My goal is to stick with this TBR plan as closely as possible. I gave myself a pretty wide variety of genres this month, so hopefully there will always be something on my list that I am in the mood for and can pick up throughout the month of January. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I did not talk a lot about these books on my TBR, but I do plan to film lots of review videos and film a lot of vlogs this month. So as I read these books, I will definitely be talking about them in other videos as well as a wrap up, hopefully, at the end of the month. If you have any books on your January TBR that you are super excited about reading, feel free to comment down below and let me know. I love adding new books to my TBR. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.